Hello there, Apple Bites. This is your Apple Bite Written Writ Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, Apple Bites, a show where we take a bite out of the apple and share it with you. And tonight, as you can tell, we have a plethora of people hanging out with us to kick off our Spooktacular. And it's going to be Spooktacular, folks. It really is. It's going to be a lot of stuff happening. Exactly, Phoebe.
Perfect.
All right. You know what, Phoebe? Let's start with you. Why don't you tell the people who you are, what you do, all the good stuff. Give them the spiel.
All right, cool. I'm Phoebe Xavier. I am the co-founder and editor-in-chief for a small indie brand of comic books called 123 Go Publications. We have done 3 of these books that we're putting out right now this October. We have a Kickstarter that launches at midnight. The book is called 13th Moon, Volume 3. We've done 2 of them, one in 2020 and one in 2022. And we are back with number 3. That right there, the image you see is a lady called Lucy, and she's the lead singer and lead guitarist of a band called Lucy and the Doombringers. She was in Volume 1. That was actually told the origin of that whole team getting together. And each volume has a number of stories. It's an anthology. And this one features the return of Lucy and the Doombringers, 4 stories that have never appeared in 13th Moon before, and one that is continuing from 13th Moon Volume 2. So there's that one's a comedy horror. There's another comedy horror called Trouble versus Cthulhu, and that one is drawn by Shwenshin Bunag and a spin-off or a splinter story off of a book that we have called Trouble that's available on Indie Planet. And then there's 4 more stories, and it's a whole lot of fun. Very diverse team, different writers, different artists, and I'm happy to be able to bring this one to the world.
I gotta say, Phoebe, how did you put this together? You know, I know these things don't usually just start out of nowhere. Usually there's something that happens that gets you to go, you know what, we should work together.
Well, I had 2 other anthology books. I was already doing a cyberpunk anthology book and a espionage assassins type anthology book. So I wanted to do a Halloween horror kind of thing, and I reached out initially on a Facebook forum that is dedicated to comic book anthology creators and found a number of people with different story ideas. I think I initially solicited for if you have a complete story, like, because I knew I wanted to get it done within like a half a year, and I didn't want to worry about people meeting deadlines.
Right.
So I was about to ask about that.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to hear behind the scenes how many people have not actually met deadlines.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
Oh, no worries. I mean, everybody has a lot going on in their life, and very few of the people that I work with are full-time comic book people or full-time art people necessarily. Well, Bayron, who is the person running the Kickstarter and the Lucy and the Doombringers artist and creator, he actually is a tattoo artist full-time. So yeah, he is an artist full-time. Shwenshin is also a hentai artist, the guy who did that image right there. He's a hentai artist full-time. But a lot of the people on the teams I work with have a lot going on in their life. So I don't I also don't like to bring a Kickstarter to the world before it's all done. Like right now, I think I have to finish 4 or 5 pages of lettering, and that's mostly it. I think maybe 2 pages need to get colored, but it's not like we have a big work slate that we have to do in the next 30 days while the project's live. There's no danger of us getting to the end of the project and being like, uh-oh, now wait 7 months because this book is not going to be available. We'll be ready to go in November.
Oh man.
Amazing. That's how you do it. That's how you build trust with people too, because I think a lot of people are hesitant to back something when it's like, you know, the actual due date's like 2 years from now, and they're like, why am I backing it now if it's not going to be finished in 2 years? So like, very smart move there.
Well, that's how some people do it, and that's not a method that works for me.
Same.
Yeah, me too.
I was going to ask you all, what do you think about that? Do you find it easier once to have it done and ready to go, and you just need the money from the Kickstarter, or have you done it before where you need the Kickstarter to make it happen? Anyone can go for it.
I feel like at the very least, if you're starting out, and not saying like any of us are starting out, but I'm saying if someone's on their first third, fifth Kickstarter, whatever it may be, at the very least, if you're early on and that I'm early on, it should be all the way done or almost all the way done before you launch, just because like none of us have like big comic book names. What I mean by that is none of us are Todd McFarlane sort of thing. Not saying Todd McFarlane would do this, but he launches an action figure on Kickstarter. He doesn't do this because he's a good businessman. He could have just shown a sketch of the action figure and been like, Spawn, #1 action figure, $500,000 goal. Let's hit it. And he'd probably hit it because he's Todd McFarlane. He doesn't.
Did Rob
do that,
Liefeld
though,
ever fulfill his Kickstarter from 2015? Does anybody know? Because I remember hearing about it in like 2021, and he still never fulfilled it. And the books were like sitting in his garage the whole time, completely done.
Wow.
Somebody update me on that.
Phil, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, he hasn't fulfilled it yet. I don't think he's ever going to.
Thank you for updating me, because like that was going to bother me.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you're using Kickstarter for. Like, because Kickstarter is usually supposed to be to kickstart your projects. So, you know, touching on what he said, if it's your first project, I think people are more understanding that if it's not done ahead of time. But I tend to lean towards what Phoebe said and others have said. From day one, I always have the book done before or by the end of the campaign. Not just because you want to build that trust with the people who pledge, but honestly, we want to get the next book out as soon as possible. I mean, even Image was hurt by being late 2 or 3 months, and they're superstars. So I don't want to become obscure and forgotten because it took me 8 months before or a year before I put out the second issue of something. So I just think expedience on that just helps you get in the eye more and build that fan base so you're not starting over every time.
Yeah, people forget really quickly, like especially if they're waiting like 8 months for the next book. Like you'll notice a huge backer drop off because, like, you know, they're just like, "Who is this again? Like, what is this?"
I've had a Kickstarter show up like 2 years later, and
I go for years.
I had completely forgotten about that.
I did that too, actually. I was like, "Who the hell is this? Like, what is this?" And then it was like, the person reached out to me, and it turns out like it was someone I was in contact with like 2 years ago. I kind of felt like really bad about it because like we had Kickstarters going at the same time, and he's just like, "Oh, hey, how are you? You know, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh my god, I know this guy."
Oh man, Phoebe, you were gonna say something?
I was just saying, some of my, like, I go a year or two between volumes and issues. I have a lot of different stuff going on at once usually, and I let people work at their own pace. A lot of people I work with are in different continents. So yeah, I'm lucky to get it done when I do get it done. And I definitely am not putting out a book every 8 months. I'd love to.
Yeah, for me, I do like having it done, just because, for all the reasons that you guys have mentioned already, but also just like mentally, like I don't have to worry. That's one big thing I don't have to worry about. You know what I mean? Like I just got through the whole campaign, and now I'm ready to like move on to the next project. I mean, which I've probably already started anyways, the next issue, or but now I don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. I can kind of, you know, that whole to-do list for that project is done.
That makes a lot of sense. It's you wrap it up and then you just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, it's making some mental space for myself.
Be surprised how very little mental space the human brain has. It's really like a 256 megabyte memory stick.
I think so.
That's it. That's the extent of it.
Mine's just a floppy disk. So
I still use the micro floppies.
Remember
those?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man. So we have the
I think our brains socially are. Oh.
Go ahead, Phoebe.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I think they say that we only have room in our brain to remember 150 people at a time because we're built for like small tribal units.
I'm lucky if I could get to 150. I feel like it's like 25 and that's it. Like I meet someone new and someone old gets forgotten. It's terrible.
I remember faces. Forget about names.
Oh, I can't remember faces. I'm terrible at that, which is ironic considering I'm an artist.
My mind has malware.
Exactly.
Malware, spyware.
That's what Artisan Prophet said.
I'll sit there and somebody will come to me and I'm like, damn, I know this person, and they start talking to me and I'm like, fuck, who is this guy?
You were the first one to go with the curse.
I told you.
It's funny because I was doing my YouTube channel for a while, and I was interviewing a lot of big name people and indie people, etc. And I would have people come up to me at shows like, "Hey Phil, how you doing? How's the family?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I don't know who this is," and I feel really bad because they would see me on the video, and I'm grateful that they were watching because I'm a nobody, but because they were watching me on video, I guess like they knew me, but I didn't know them because I don't see them on the other side of the screen. So it was awkward. I didn't want to insult anyone, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm thinking in my head, oh my god, how do I find out who this person is without insulting them?
And Phil,
it's gonna be like, oh, hey,
talk to us.
hey, you, hey, guys.
They talk to us in the comment section. So I feel like they're already going, oh, we have conversation. We've talked before.
But a lot of times they have the pseudonym, or they don't have their profile picture is not them, or I'm on my phone and their profile picture so small that I don't know what it looks like. I'm blind. So.
Completely agree. So I was saying, the Queen of Darkness is here with us. She is our ghost host. And why don't you tell the people a little bit about you so they know who our co-host or ghost host is? Go ahead.
I am the Queen of Darkness, a dream within a scream. I'm a model, poet, an author soon. I travel a lot. I do a lot of different conventions and events. I am the horror hostess with the Ghostess for Paraflix Network. It is a streaming network for all paranormal things and horror, movies, TV shows, podcasts, and more. That is me. I'm a weirdo. I am weird. I am odd. And that's what I do. I like to creep people out and make them, scared of me.
I feel like you fit right into this whole crowd of us. And you just finished coming back from a convention, didn't you, right?
I did. I was at Warren's Paracon in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It is a paranormal convention, and they bring a bunch of haunted artifacts from the Warren's Occult Museum, and a bunch of other guests and vendors bring haunted objects and things, and it's super spooky and a lot of fun. I always love doing events like this because I really like meeting people and things like that. So
I have to ask, have you been to the Warrens? I know they have their own museum. Have you been to the museum itself?
The museum isn't open at the moment.
That's what I heard. I heard that it hasn't been open for a while.
Yeah. I did try to go at some point, but it wasn't open then at the time either because I think there was stuff going on within their health things, I guess, at the time for the Warrens when Lorraine and Ed were there.
That's true. Yeah, we miss them still.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Paraflix.
Paraflix is awesome. It is like the Netflix, I guess, for paranormal and horror. So it has a bunch of different paranormal TV shows. It has one of the shows that I'm on, Dark Echoes Paranormal. It is really cool. It has music and podcasts. It has a variety of stuff, and it's constantly being updated. And I really enjoy it. Natalie Jones is awesome. And we were speaking for a little while, and then that's when I became the horror hostess with the Ghostess. I do want to apologize for my overexertion and extreme enthusiasm. But I'm very tired, so I do apologize. I'm trying to
I don't worry about it. I feel like we're all in the same place right now for some reason.
It's that kind of day. Yeah, you guys heard what kind of day I had behind the scenes. So
It has been that kind of a day. So it's been that kind of a year.
yeah, honestly,
Like my brain is a
I can
puddle.
completely agree with you.
Mondays.
You think you're exhausted? I'm only 27 years old. Look at me.
oh my goodness, time has not been kind to you, sir.
Oh my
I'm
god!
just
And
kidding.
look, the audience is agreeing with us. You got my mind is malware. You also have some ghost hosts with the most. Great podcast. Paranormal Investigate. I love the show. Love that show. And I've lived in a haunted house. Yeah, seen some stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
I'm always curious about these, like, cursed objects conventions, but I feel like if I go there, something's going to follow me home.
Same thing.
It can happen. That's for sure. It absolutely can happen. That's
Always a concern.
it's a good one to have.
It is.
Self-preservation is a hell of a drug.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Dismay. Why don't we tell the people all the good stuff about you, who you are, give them the spiel. Go for it.
Sounds good. So my name's Brandon Ingram. If you can't tell, I am not the NBA player on the Pelicans.
How dare
Different
get off
Brandon
the
Ingram.
show.
Dude, when I was looking for your name on Facebook, all they would give me was that guy.
Dude, I was a substitute teacher back in the day, and kids, the teacher would write the sub's name before the sub came in the next day. The name was on the board. I walk in and I just hear a couple of the kids go, "Aw."
Oh my goodness, that is so demoralizing.
They really think there's going to be an NBA player?
They really thought an NBA player would be at this school of 600 kids, kindergarten through 12th grade. They thought
It could be worse. It could have been a reaction on a blind date.
Oh my goodness.
God. Yeah, if that happens,
that's horrible.
I might as well just get up and walk away.
Yeah, you put the breadsticks in your pockets, and you're like, all right, it's a
Sticks
nice
in your
meeting.
pockets.
But so yeah, I'm Brandon Ingram, not the NBA player. I have my own publishing line, Dismay Comics. I have made several books at this point, a few series, Dismay Avenue, which is my horror series, or Spooktacular, my horror series, as well as stuff like Gallows Man. I'm currently running a Kickstarter for Gallows Man number 1 through 3. We've already put out issues 1 and 2. This is to get issue 3 out to the public, sort of thing. And the Gallows Man, basic way to describe it is Adam West Batman meets Inglourious Bastards. It's the fun campiness of like 1960s Adam West Batman. The
best version of Batman.
Yeah,
exactly. It's so fun. Like people don't realize how fun it is and how intentionally campy and dumb it is. It's meant to be that way. They wrote it that way. But that fun campiness of that, the G. Willikers Gallows Man, like stuff like that, mixed in with like over the top Tarantino violence, like you would see in like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, sort of thing. The very end of that movie, people know what I'm talking about. And so that's basically the premise. The overall story is you have this over the top world of campy and satirical superheroes. And within that world, you have the Gallows Man and his team. And his team are trying to stop this Nazi cult, this Nazi threat that has infiltrated their city, not only to save the city, but to avenge the Gallows Man's former mentor. And that is basically the premise of the story. There's tons of different art pages. It's very cartoony. That way, like with some of the over-the-top violence, it's not too much. But it is... It's rated M, but it's not rated. There's no nudity. There's no suggestive themes, no smoking, no drug use, no drinking, no language, nothing. It's rated M just because of that over-the-top violence that happens, which is always interesting to see at conventions whenever a mom goes by a booth that has like maybe some bikini covers, and the mom kind of scoffs at that a little bit. But then they come to my stuff, and they're like, "Oh, would this be good for little Billy?" And I'm like, let me let me first warn you, and then I give them the spiel like I did here, and they're like, "Oh, that's nothing. Yeah, violence. He watches Saw. He watches all the
Oh my
Saw
God.
movies." It's like, okay, that's yeah.
Oh
It's
my
just
God.
seeing that stigma here in the States.
Yeah, I have to say, like, while you're bringing this up, I remember I used to go to gaming stores, and I would sit there and watch these parents come in and ask for like Resident Evil and Grand Theft Auto, and the guy, the GameStop guy would be like, "Oh, so you're buying this for yourself?" And then, "No, I'm buying this for my kid." And then the GameStop guy will be like, "I have to warn you, this and this," and they're like, "Whatever."
Yeah, and then you see the kid, and
I
the
got
kid is like
places to
4
go.
years old.
Yeah,
Just like, you know what? I'm not gonna tell you how to parent your kid.
just give me GTA 5. Little Tommy will be fine. Let's go.
Oh my God. I like the fact that you at least give them a warning.
You
Yeah,
gotta.
yeah.
I do that too at cons where they're like, "Can I give this to my 12-year-old daughter?" I'm like, "Okay, well, if you're okay with, seeing people getting literally set on fire, like, here's the
Yeah.
worst part. If you think your kid is okay with that, then fine." Like, I
Yeah,
always show the
exactly.
worst parts to the parents, and then they're just like, "Oh, okay, this isn't a book for 12-year-old girls."
I am surprised they do that, because I'm telling you, like, I've seen parents just give kids whatever. Oh man, but I love your humor, and it's always a blast to see, and it is like a call back to those days with the Adam West '60s, and I was looking through some stuff of yours, and you have the pows and the booms and the oofs.
All it needs is
it's
like a
basically-
killer soundtrack.
Yeah. It's basically the initial thing was with the Adam West Batman show. You had him, he's about to punch, and then you had the bang, pow, blam before the connection of the punch.
Exactly.
And then after that, you see the aftermath. The guy's in handcuffs or he's on the ground. This is the same concept where he's about to punch, then it's bang, pow, blam. Then the aftermath is guy falls and breaks his neck on a table.
Yep.
Guys ram into a wall and their car explodes and they're burning alive. It's a mix of stuff.
I know people go, "Wow, Ralph, why are you laughing at that?" But you guys have to see how it does.
It sounds hilarious.
Oh my God.
Thank
You guys need to pick this book up. You will enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Even he's talking about the violence, and it's mature. It is mature, but at the same time, it's just a lot of fun.
It's a fun book. I'll admit, there's some stupid stuff in it, but sometimes you just need stupid fun.
I've never seen a marketing pitch quite so interesting.
Yeah, seriously, you had me at stupid stuff.
Exactly.
There is some stuff where you can read into it, like our desensitization of violence, especially in the golden age of comics and various stuff, but it's hyperizing it. You can read into it, or you just have a fun, dumb time. That's possible.
Oh my God. Yeah, folks, pick it up. Check it out. It's just a lot of fun. All right, Patrick, go for it.
Oh, all right. So my comic is Bixby Grant Private Eye. This is my third Kickstarter, but it's the second issue.
Oh, look at that.
This one up good.
Oh, did it just go up?
It did.
Yeah.
Hey, sweet.
Ralph has that kind of magic. Anytime he loads a page, like it just goes up.
I like it. So Bixby Grant is a mummy private detective. He was a cop back in the 1930s who busted up a museum heist and triggered the curse of the pharaoh and became an immortal living mummy. So, but it takes place modern day now, and he's pretty grumpy because all his friends and family are all dead and gone, and he's
I'd be grumpy too.
Right? I mean, he feels kind of isolated, the city that he lives in is called Harbor City. It's populated with a lot of supernatural creatures and wizards and warlocks and witches and all kinds of people as well. It's kind of a mecca for all stripes. So this is the second issue. You can get both issue 1 and issue 2 of this new series called Fangs and Brimstone, which is going to be a 6-issue series. And there's a series of murders going on in Harbor City. They are basically cult murders, like with elaborate. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. With an elaborate, the daggers are used, and there's candles, and the guys in robes, and the whole thing. And so Bix gets called into this or pulled into this against his will to start investigating this series of murders in town. There's also kind of a political backdrop in that the corrupt mayor of the city, who's running on a platform of kicking out all the supernatural citizens, is all the murders are people who work on his campaign. So every supernatural creature in the city is a prime suspect, including Bix and Diego, who is a rockabilly vampire, who gets teamed up with Bix. Much to Bix's chagrin. Diego is a very affable, fun guy, and Bix just can't stand him.
He's adorable, though.
Yeah. Oh, too fun.
Nice quaff. Yeah. So that's the basic gist of it. But this is, there's this one, the first graphic novel that we put out a couple years ago called Wolf She Cried was very much a traditional noir, what I call monster noir. So it's a noir detective story, but all the players in it are a monster or a supernatural creature of some kind. This one still has elements of, it's still a mystery, but it's more of a kind of a buddy cop thing. In that, Bix has to partner up with Diego and kind of deal with him throughout this. So it's an what do you call it? An uneasy partnership. And this issue, we start to kind of build out the world of Bixby Grant a little bit more. We find out more about some of his allies and some of his old friends. And there's this woman here. Her name is Mo, and that's her dog, Shep. He's actually a demon dog.
He is adorable.
Isn't he? So yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. It's got creatures and it's got monsters, so it's perfect for the spooky season. But if you like kind of hoo-ha action and like Hellboy or The Rocketeer or any of that kind of retro pulpy stuff, I think you'll dig it too. The pitch I usually give is it's Hellboy meets the spirit with the tone of Batman the Animated Series.
That's a good pitch.
Thanks. Yeah. This, what we're looking at right here is the backup story called Zombie Town. So there's a section of Harbor City called Zombie Town, which is 5 square blocks that were just walled off because there was a zombie outbreak there and people didn't want to deal with it. So there's just a section with thousands of zombies wandering around it because I thought that would be cool and fun. So this detective, the character in this is a supporting character from the main Bixby Grant story. Her name is Detective Ramirez, and she is investigating the disappearance of her father, and all signs point to him having disappeared into Zombie Town 20 years ago. So she's going to investigate.
Very nice. I love how you put this together. I love having you back on and hearing all of this beautiful stuff again.
Oh, thanks.
I like that cover.
And I gotta say, like, ever since we heard of your detective here, the guys have been going with me because I think somebody misheard you on what you were saying, and they heard dinosaur detective. So now they got me writing a dinosaur detective.
Oh my goodness! Amazing.
I love it. Well, there's do you guys have any of you guys ever read Atomic Robo?
I have not.
It's a great fun series. But one of the bad guys' name is Dr. Dinosaur, and he's a mad scientist trapped in a velociraptor body. So that's kind of what that reminds me of.
I kind of want to see like a T-Rex doctor like trying to do stuff with his little T-Rex arms now.
Yeah. That is one of his limitations.
Nice.
Always reminds me of Meet the Robinsons, when the bad guy takes control of the T-Rex. Yeah. And he goes, I don't think this plan was thought out very well. Oh man, but yeah, you guys go check it out. Bixby Grant is a lot of fun, and I'm a lover of noir, so this is right up my alley, as I guess you guys could see.
Yeah, in fact, if you go to BixbyGrant.com, it'll take you straight away to my campaign on Kickstarter. It'll forward you to there.
Very handy.
Yeah, very handy. Very way to go.
Thanks.
And speaking of noir and monsters that we love, Phil, tell the people what you've been up to, because this is really interesting.
Well, I can or I'll be arrested, but I'll tell you about my book, though. So, I mean, you know, Ralph, I've created a lot of original characters, and I don't usually use public domain characters. I've never before, but I had these cool ideas writing these characters in ways that I don't think anybody's ever done before, plots they've never used. So, you know, my wife was like, I don't think it's going to work. And I did it anyway, and she read it, and she thought it was good. So I said, all right, that's the first test passed. So if you
One of the most important tests.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, my wife's very honest, which is what I love about her. I don't want to be placated or I'll never get better. So if you took the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the classic monsters and you kind of took those concepts, added in a little other stuff, you know, and then sprinkle some of my stuff in there, you get this concept of the Global Protectorate Agency is a government-sanctioned agency that basically hires different teams for different threats to the world. And Arcane Syndicate, their goal is to fight all the things that go bump in the night, all the supernatural threats to the world. So while that's going on, there's government espionage kind of stuff. Like, what's the government really up to? You know, the Invisible Man, is he a double agent? Things like that. But also, the three vampires exist in the world: Vlad the Impaler, Nosferatu, and Count Dracula. All actually exist in this world, and they all think the other is the imposter, and they want to wipe each other out because they feel they're an insult. They're a vermin, you know. Vlad is, you know, studying Romanian history based on the mythos of the actual historical figure Vlad. He is more, you know, he has an army that's more sophisticated, knights with swords kind of thing, but they're vampires. Nosferatu, they're very feral, and Count Dracula is on his own with the team. So there's that vampire war going on. Why is Dracula with this team? You know, because he feels he's above humans. And if you remember the old 1931 Frankenstein movie, he drowns a little girl. She comes back as a vengeful spirit to get revenge on Frankenstein. We've got the vampire war. And what happens if a vampire gets hold of the Necronomicon? Because they're undead, and now they have the ability to control all of the undead with this book. So one of the vampires gets hold of the Necronomicon, and what is going to happen with that? The Phantom of the Opera, through arcane magic and science, has this keyboard guitar that when he plays it, like a bard in D&D, it creates magical spells.
Nice.
Frankenstein's monster is actually very intelligent. He was a descendant of Dr. Frankenstein dying of cancer. So through arcane magic and science, he transplanted his brain into this thing to live forever, and he leads the team. But the government has other plans, and you know, they also insert Dr. Jekyll and his counterpart, Mr. Hyde, later on to kind of ruffle the feathers of Frankenstein's leadership and things going on. So there's a new government liaison who is not who he appears to be, and he has ties to vampires, and why is he there? So there's a lot of like mysteries. There's a lot of subplots going on. There's a lot of, it's going to be horror, action, and superhero adventure, so to speak. A lot of different character dynamics. Like Dracula is pompous and arrogant. He feels he should lead. He's above everyone. He butts heads with Frankenstein all the time. So there's just a lot of character dynamics. There's cool plots, going to limbo, facing demons, gargoyles, ghosts, zombies, you know, everything supernatural, undead, etc. So I'm excited about it. Reviews for the first 5 scripts have been very well received. And yeah, so let's have fun with it and see where we go.
The interiors look amazing.
Yeah, I love that page. You know, people give me credit when a book looks good or reads well. And I'm like, no, my superpower is I know how to pick great people to make me look better. You know, it's like the quarterback gets all the credit, but if that line doesn't protect him, he has no time to throw. So I'm just very fortunate that I work with like David River is the interior artist. He does pencils and inks, and February Ferdian is the colorist, and George Medina is the letterer. Even I could be the greatest writer in the world, and you wouldn't know unless you look at this art and you go, "Oh, that looks interesting. I want to pick this up." So, all credit to the team. They're just awesome. I really appreciate them. I'm excited. The book will be finished by the time the campaign ends on Halloween. So, like we discussed earlier, and it'll just be waiting for the Kickstarter funds and then go to print.
I gotta say, your books always come really quick after the campaign. So I've never had an issue with you not getting your book really quick.
Yeah, well, it's like everyone said, right? The people who have done this before, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 campaigns, they all know you. Nobody goes to a Wendy's counter, hands you money for a number 6, and says, "I'll come back next month." It's like, I'm here to eat now. So
that's a great analogy, actually.
That's a great analogy. Yeah.
So, and people work hard at jobs they probably don't even like. So if they're going to spend their hard-earned money on stuff that I created, it's very humbling, and I'm grateful. And the least I can do is deliver. So,
amen.
And I'm showing off some other of the beautiful stuff that
yeah, we have other horror-related stuff that we've successfully kickstarted and have been selling for a while. And we just decided for people who've never caught up to it to include it for the theme.
Yeah, folks, go check it out. He does a great job.
It looks great.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to be adding. We're so close to funding it. It's driving me mad. I mean, we're like $260 from funding, and it's just sitting there, and I'm like twitching. So we're adding foils, metal covers, glow in the dark, 2 more variants, and some original art to the campaign this week.
I gotta say, glow in the dark makes sense with this.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to give you the choice of what cover you want to make a glow in the dark.
Ooh.
Which most campaigns don't do that. It's the cover they pick. I'm going to let you choose.
I like that. How are you going to let them choose?
Well, in the survey at the end, you'll tell me what cover you want to be black and glow in the dark, and we will do it.
Interesting. That sounds too simple.
Well, I mean, first of all, I love all the covers. I'm a fan of art myself, and
right.
But I just it goes back to what I said. Give people options, give them what they want. Because maybe they love glow in the dark, but they're disappointed that it's only that cover. They really liked the other cover. So there's no harm in giving options. When they're doing print on demand, it's the same price per book regardless. So for printing, so. Why not? Customer service is key. I think it's a lost art in this day and age. Everybody wants to take your money in 5 seconds, but God forbid you have a customer question or some sort of need for service. I'm not into that. So
I'm looking at you, Facebook.
Can't
make contact with anyone on Meta.
Dude,
yeah.
Right before we came on, I share everybody's Kickstarter. So every once in a while, what ends up happening was like, this goes against our whatever. They try to strike me on something, and it's usually me sharing a Kickstarter, and it's like you're spamming. I'm like, no, I'm sharing a Kickstarter. There's no spam involved in this.
Yeah, I tried to share a link to one of my Substack posts, and it kept getting taken down because it was like misleading.
Yep.
I was like, "How is this misleading?" I'm posting a link
because they want you to pay to boost the post. That's why they want more money. Like they don't make enough.
It's stupid. But like you were saying though, they don't give you an option to explain what the hell is going on. They give you these options that have nothing to do with how they will strike you on it. And I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah, their review options are just incredibly sad.
And there's no contact number. It's so frustrating.
Nobody to talk to.
They're not going to hire people for you to talk to. That's customer service.
They know they get 5 million calls a day cursing them out. That's why.
I'd be one of them. I would absolutely be one of them.
I haven't even done someone's feelings. And I'd be on top of them all the time. Oh my god. It's just ridiculous. I don't get why because it's not even just Facebook. Kickstarter, Instagram, TikTok. It's like
Twitter.
we want you to talk to us, and I'm like, no, you don't.
They just want you to stay active on their platform, and that's it, and continue to soak up their revenue from their advertising that they're shoving all over your feed.
Exactly.
But God forbid we advertise our products without paying Facebook.
Oh, don't you love it when you're watching a video from a friend on Facebook and then like an ad pops up midway and you're just like, are you serious? Are you serious right now?
Dude, my favorite thing is you're looking at an ad and then they give you an ad while you're looking at the ad. And I'm like, dude, that was an ad I was looking at. Why are you giving me another ad for something else? If I was somebody who put that ad up there, I'd be like, why are you showing somebody else's ad during my ad time?
Yeah, like I paid for this. Like I guess someone else paid for that, but this shouldn't, like, this should not be happening.
I mean, they looked at all of us using it as free marketing, and they said, well, this isn't right. We have to capitalize on this because it's our platform, because, you know, we're not rich enough. And look, I'm all for capitalism, but my God, don't squash the little guy. I mean, small businesses, free enterprise is what this is all about in this country, right? So, you know, what does it hurt them to do? You know, most people, you don't even know how to quantify the boost. You pay for the boost, and do I know if every time Ralph looks at it, that counts as a click? You know what I'm saying? We don't know. And you can't reach anybody to find out. And you get tons of bots. I got 3,000 likes for my Withered campaign. Not one new backer.
Also, why am I the one who made the ad? Why the heck am I getting my own ad?
Exactly.
That's another view. Like,
yeah, it's another
view.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, I always feel like it's like this. Like, because when I show something, nobody sees it. But as soon as you pay to show it, then everybody on your own feed sees it. And I'm like, so I'm paying for my own feed to see something that they should have seen in the first place.
Yeah, they're holding your audience hostage, basically. Like, how much do you want to pay for the people you know to see this?
The algorithms also are tailored to what they think you like best. Like, if you keep seeing the person griping about politics, that's because you keep interacting on those posts. So you're not seeing the positive ones. You're seeing, you know, the cranky ones. Or if you only like positive or just kitten pictures, you know, then that's all you're gonna get.
Leave me my kitten pictures alone.
I'm all for kitten pictures. You know, if you're into horror, right? You know, you'll get a lot of the horror stuff in your feed, but you're not going to get other stuff. I don't know why they think they have to tailor like that to what, you know what I mean? Just let it. If it's really a free social media, you should have access to everybody and everything, you know. But it is what it is.
Right. It shouldn't be like this weird feedback loop echo chamber of like this one thing.
Right.
Because people aren't that one-dimensional.
Right.
Like,
I mean, why? Also, why should I pay to advertise to the people I'm already friends with? I'm trying to reach new people.
Right.
It always bugs me out, especially like I'll have friends who have Kickstarters, and I'll see their Kickstarter after it finishes. Like the post for the Kickstarter shows up after the Kickstarter finishes.
That always happens.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
It's like my Kickstarter.
Or when you have a convention appearance.
Yep.
Sorry.
Like 10 days after it ends, then suddenly people are like engaging with posts where it's like, there's only 3 days left, and they're sharing it and stuff. I'm just like,
because they just saw it.
Yeah, it's like, thank you, but also it's too late.
It's the thought.
Yeah, it used to be a 48-hour window. Now I'll see a post 6 days later.
Yeah.
It's like that person was advertising to be at a convention. I'm seeing it now. The weekend has passed. They're home now. And like the Queen of Darkness, they're probably ready to pass out after driving 7 or 8 hours. So,
and I gotta say, like like Phil, there's times where your feed disappears completely from me unless I go looking for you specifically, and I'm like, why do I have to go looking for him if he's already on my feed? His stuff should show up.
Oh, and when you mark your friends as important or like people you want to keep in contact with, and then you just never see their posts ever. What was the point?
Oh my God. Let me ask you this, because we're talking horror a little bit here.
This is definitely horror. Social media is horror.
That is. So there's been a resurgence or a renaissance in horror. Why do you think I guess you can all answer this. What do you think that is? Or I'm not sure exactly what I'm asking, but it just feels like horror is everywhere now. It used to be that it was something that you rarely saw, but now I feel like everybody is doing some aspect of horror.
I think every genre is cyclical. I mean, Westerns will pop up again at some point. Superheroes will pop up. I just think it's cyclical. People go through everything, and then they burn it out to death, and they get tired of it, so they move to the next. And there's only a certain amount of genres you can really hit, So I think it's coming back around again because that's just its cycle. Just like fashion does, 70s fashion will come back at some point, or car models. We're a wash, rinse, repeat society. Look at movies; they just keep regurgitating the same stuff. But as I use public domain characters, but anyway, we gravitate to what we know, to what we're comfortable with, what we like, and depending on how far you deviate and do something new with it, people are reluctant sometimes to take that risk. But horror, I think, is the one genre that the more you go outside the box, the more you bring people in, because horror can encapsulate so much within its own genre, whether it's ghosts or monsters or just serial killers or aliens that murder people. So I think that's the one genre that the more outlandish you get, the more interesting it gets.
Anyone else?
What Phil said.
I think there are a couple of factors right now. I think that first of all, that practical effects are just like a lot easier to do now. Like back when they were making like the original Evil Dead, like they were inventing those effects. They were coming up with like their own solution for making blood or whatever.
They use dog food.
And at this point, you have TV shows or YouTube videos that teach you how to do these effects. So, and I also think CGI. Oh, wait, they use dog food for guts? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, in Evil Dead. They
dog
use
food as guts?
Yep.
Okay, I believe that. Yeah, that totally tracks. Also, though, even CGI effects are becoming easier, where like people can make gunshots at home on their computer with not very complex software or very, very serious like industry standard computer. So I think those are a couple of things that like make it easier to make horror movies these days. I think like it's just a more accessible thing for the average college student making their student films or whatever. But I also think that streaming services, the way that they've taken over the media, streaming services get a lot more clicks off of horror than they do off of comedy. Comedy has almost died as like a genre in the modern streaming environment. That like they might watch, if you could get them to binge an entire yeah, exactly. It's the cheapest type of movie to make. Well, comedy can be cheaper unless Adam Sandler's asking for $20 million a movie or whatever.
But harder to pull off.
Yeah, harder to pull off. Yeah, it's harder to be funny than it is to be scary. But yeah, so I think there's a number of factors that all feed into that. I also wanted to say that I have to leave in a few minutes, and thank you for having me. So in case you guys are mid-conversation, I'm just going to dip out at 8:25.
Phoebe, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you and all that stuff. I'll put up your Kickstarter again. Go for it.
Okay, cool. I am, most of my regular books are on indieplanet.com/123go. And right now you can find this project going live at midnight at 13th Moon Volume 3 is the name of the project. It's Bayron Calderon is the person whose Kickstarter account is the project is on. He is the main artist for Lucy and the Doombringers, the cover story. He did this lovely cover for issue number 2 of this book. And you can find those books, the first 2 volumes, on indieplanet.com/123go. And I can be found on, you can come find us 123go Publications on Facebook. I think I'm at Phoebe123go on Instagram, but I don't really use Instagram. So I have like 7 pictures in the 3 years I've been on it. But But in any case, yeah, it's been a blast talking to everybody, and have a great spooky season, everybody.
Great meeting you.
Nice to
Good
meet
luck
you.
with the Kickstarter.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you, thank you. Good luck with everyone else's.
Thanks.
Bye.
I do want to mention something real quick with the horror thing. The person that did the comment a second ago is spot on, because the average blockbuster movie that comes out nowadays has $200+ million budget sort of stuff, outlandish stuff, and then you see the final product and it's like,
yeah,
someone kind of put in some of that aside somewhere. Not making accusations, but
someone pocketed something.
Exactly. Like it's rare to find something under $50 million. Like it's very rare. Most budgets are 50 million plus. Your big blockbusters are 200 million plus. Horror is one of the cheapest genres to make regarding, and that's also good because it adds creativity. It has them like really work within the budget. Most horrors that you see in theaters are like 1 million to no more than 20 million most of the time.
Just give me a camera, a knife, and put me in the woods. That's it.
Yeah.
And tell everybody, make sure they split up.
Yep.
And fall down when you're running.
Yeah, wear their most unstable shoes. Or no shoes. That's even worse.
Like that Geico commercial where they're all like, "Let's go hide behind the chainsaws. Why don't we go in the car that's running with the door open? No, go behind the chainsaws."
Yeah.
And I feel like a horror crosses over a lot of things too, because I know there's been a bunch of times where they think it's a horror movie and I go watching it, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
All horror movies are comedy for me.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many subgenres of horror. It is a very broad genre, but that's what's great about it, is it is so big.
It is completely. And I gotta ask you, Michelle, because I feel like ghost hunting and all that stuff has really exploded. It started off as something simple, and now where you had like a couple of ghost hunters all over the country. Now I feel like there's tons and tons and tons and tons of ghost hunters now, and I can see why Paraflix is putting it all together.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, you.
Yeah. Paranormal investigating has been around for such a long time. It's just that for a very, very long time, it was taboo. People were afraid of it. They thought that everything was demonic, etc. So I think that since back in the day, Paranormal State Ghost Hunters came on, that really paved the way for those paranormal TV shows. It created an interest because it showed there was fun sides of it, so people got to laugh. They enjoyed the people that were investigating with their banter, and they enjoyed seeing people like get terrified and run away and stuff. And a lot of
some of the best episodes when you saw so and so just run for his life, and then people going, "Why are you running?"
Yeah, and it's not like they had like a ton of evidence coming through or anything like that for the shows, but it was just, I think, about the banter and the excitement. And then from there it just kind of blew up. More and more people, not that it blew up, I think more people realized that other people were into it. And so Paraflix is definitely in the right place right now, because some of the paranormal shows are being taken off the TV, the mainstream TV shows. I would like
that kind of day.
It is.
Back to me, please. Yeah. So a lot of them are being taken off, and because as someone was saying before, everything is cyclical but you still have those people that want that draw. They want that those kind of shows, and it's a great place to find that. If you do want to find those kinds of shows, I'm just going to do a little plug real quick. If you do want to find those kinds of shows, please go to paraflix.com. You can put in code QOD30 for 30% off your annual subscription. Thanks.
There you have it, folks. And I have to say, like, I thought it was my imagination that these shows were beginning to disappear, because I don't see them, because I watch them all the time. I don't see them on TV like I used to.
Well, what you're gonna wind up seeing now, probably a lot more like UFO stuff, because it seems to go UFOs, Bigfoot, then back into paranormal. Then you'll hear about the Loch Ness monster again, and whatever else is going on. So you'll get into cryptids probably. I think there's gonna be a lot more shows about cryptids, which are kind of creepy and cool and interesting. So.
Okay,
I find it interesting. I'm sorry. I find it interesting with those kinds of things that, like, way before there was easy communication, you know, you had somebody here across the world and somebody here across the world, and they're drawing the same images of these weirdo things on walls and rocks and whatever. I just find that to be so cool. And doing the paranormal thing, I've been in experiences where your brain almost can't comprehend, like you're questioning, like, did I actually even experience that? And then when you do have it on evidence, you're like, I did experience that. What the hell? It kind of is scary because it makes you wonder what else is actually going on that I just have not had the privilege, I guess. I don't know if it's a privilege, but I haven't had the experience of yet, you know? Yeah.
I completely get it, and I understand, and you know, it's funny because my life, the reason I watch this stuff is because I've had enough experiences, and I always feel like it's like one of those shows. It's like when I was a child, I experienced. Now I have a show where I'm hunting ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I completely get it, and I love watching those shows, and I've been watching them for years. I watched Paranormal State. I watched TAPS. Yeah, it's so funny how it went from what it was to this huge boom, and now you can barely find a ghost show on TV.
Right. Other than I think Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
Other than Zach Baggins. That's
exactly
the only guy I see around. I want to see more than Zach Baggins, people.
He was, I think he had bought out a few. I mean, don't quote me because I might be wrong, but I think he was in control of a few of those shows, and that just didn't, you know. So he has his show, but he's very much entertainment. So for as many people that can't stand him, a lot of people love that kind of a vibe. So
I got to tell you, anytime I watch them, I'm saying, what stupid shit are these guys going to do?
Maybe that was the whole point.
Oh, yeah. Dude, there's times where I sit there and go, no, do not do that. That's the wrong thing to do. And they go and do it right there.
They're very stupid, but they can be fun. Just seeing Zach and the camera guy fumbling around sometimes is fun.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, folks. As you can see, I watch the shows. Oh man, I love horror. I love horror all my life. I love the combination. I think I love, my favorite horror is the ones that make you laugh, because you know, it's just a cyclical thing. And horror is funny at the same time that it's not funny.
Or it depends on how you perceive it, I guess. I know that horror is and I'm gonna get a little weird for a second, I guess. Well, horror, I feel like for a lot of people is an excellent escape for everything that's going on in their own personal lives. And sometimes, like, I know especially a lot of people that love the horror movies, believe it or not, have faced like traumas and stuff like that, and it's a really good outlet for them, and they find sometimes that they relate to a lot of the characters in certain ways, because a lot of those horror characters are just being bullied. They're being bullied, and then they become bullies, you know what I mean? Like, if you just see their backstory, it's like, well, shit, oh shoot, I was number 2, I was the second one. But yeah, so I mean, I can see why, when you have your kind of a personality, why you would probably be more drawn to the horror comedy end of it. You know what I mean? Like, I do enjoy the horror comedy, and you can find the comedy in it because some of it is just so ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I've seen horror movies that people go, Ralph, how are you laughing at this stuff? I'm like, it's funny. It's really
same.
funny.
Like, it could be the most serious horror movie, and like something will happen, and I'll just bust out laughing. Like, both me and my mom are not allowed to watch a horror movie in the theaters because we will get thrown out. Because we will just start laughing inappropriately at like the wrong time, and people
my
will
friends
just
have stopped wanting to go with me to horror movies because, like, either I'll figure it out before the end of it.
Yep, that
or
too.
I'll just start laughing at this most bad timing, and they're like, "The hell's wrong with you?"
What was that?
Like, people
horror
are
movie that
dying
came
here,
out
Ralph.
this
What's wrong
year?
with you?
What was the horror movie that came out this year where it followed the slasher's point of view, and it was kind of slower? I'm trying to remember what that was called.
Oh, I remember that. What was that called?
Is that
In
the
a Violent
Nicolas
Nature.
Cage? Oh.
No, not Long Legs. In a Violent Nature is what it was. If y'all haven't heard of it, check it out. It is slower. It's a slow burn because half of the movie is him walking through the grass in the fields to go to the next kill, basically. It's pretty much Friday the 13th, but imagine all the dead time where Jason's not there. He's walking to go kill those people. And there's a couple kills in that are like insane. There's one specifically. Once you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's one specifically that is just so insane. And I brought like a group of friends to go watch it. And I was just over here like holding my hand to my mouth, just dying laughing. And all of them are just like, because it's just so over the top.
Oh man, Phil, let me ask you this, because you know you're working on them, and I'm always interested in the Universal monsters. Why do we have such a love for them? Because they're not exactly horror movies. You know, they're very noir, very campy usually, and you know it's a whole different universe. I think it's a more innocent universe.
I don't know, but I would maybe it's because, like you said, it's more appealing across a broad audience, right? It's not so harsh that you can't enjoy it if you don't like gore and things like that. But at the same time, it's supernatural and horror. You know, and again, these were new ideas back then when they started, and once something becomes iconic as the first, or you know. At least the first of that type, I think people just jump on it, you know, and then they appreciate it for its contribution to something, and they look forward to it. But it's also, I think people want to challenge that by always coming up with the new inventive way of doing them too. So there's the challenge of that, and I think people might get intrigued by, well, let's see what that take is on a vampire this time. But you know, sometimes you fall flat on your face. You look at a vampire show movie, you go, oh my god, what the hell is this? But I mean,
sparkling, what is that? Oh, no, put it away.
I mean, if you think about it, you know, a lot of people don't know that vampires, the whole mythos started from Vlad the Impaler. He would take your head off and put it on a spike, and then the Romanian villagers started telling folklore stories about him being this thing that you can't kill, and then he would drain the blood, and then just someone took it from there and it went off, and then, you know, and then you've got these variations like the three in the book. So I think it's also got a superhero element to it, though.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, Dracula's got all these wild powers, so it's not just horror. It touches on so many different genres, you know, superhero, supernatural, straight up horror. I mean, and then you can make movies like Monster Squad, right? I mean, Wolfman's got nards. So, you know, and that's appealing to a whole family. So I think they're a great mythos that can be whichever type of horror you want them to be, or even pull them out of the horror realm and just make them superheroes, you know?
I completely agree with you, because you know, when they tried to redo the Universal Monster universe, and they went down that route, that darker route, I guess it was, or whatever route it was, I guess the more realistic route, because I can't even say what it was.
Well, like the old Hammer films, you know, they were supposed to be much more. They were campy, but they were supposed to be darker and, you know, more serious.
Yeah, but those are still in that vein. But I mean, like when they recently tried to reboot the universe. With I think it was Tom Cruise.
The Tom Cruise one, yeah.
Yeah. And people were like, "What the freak is this?"
Well, you know, again, execution does matter, right? I mean, you know, you can take a wonderful property and write it right into the ground.
As we've seen,
or you can take a crappy character and write it well, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you mentioned the superhero element. They tried doing that with that universe, with the Mummy. They were very much trying to set up their Avengers, essentially. Like, let's have, okay, we have the Mummy, we're adding all these little elements. Oh, there's Jekyll and Hyde, there's this, there's that, and then we'll just spawn from there, but then it tanks, and then it's like, oh, all those plans are gone. So focus on the here and now with the movie, expand it as it goes. There was too much focus on we're going to do all this, and then they can't even do it.
And timing is everything too. When you release something depends too, because like zombies were big a while ago, but if if I came out with a zombie book now, people are like, oh, we've been there, done that, and it might be a fantastic story or written differently, but is that where people are at right now? Is that what they're into? Again, because everything is cyclical.
I think what's happening too is the people, they keep asking for more realism, but I don't feel like they want realism. I feel like they want like The Mummy was fun, lots of fun, still horror, still. And
I love those movies.
Oh, I love the movies. I love Brendan Fraser. He did a great job with that, and I feel like they went away from that in the Tom Cruise movies. It wasn't fun anymore. It was more realistic, but it wasn't fun anymore.
It was boring as hell.
Yeah.
I'm tired of realism.
I forgot about the movie until you brought it up.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if I like we say the word realism, but I tend to think it's more of, I think people right now, society's through hard times, right? Everybody's fighting, everybody's angry, everybody's bitter, everybody's jaded.
Yeah.
So I think Misery Loves Company, now we're seeking media that reflects these feelings. We want negative. We want The Boys. We want Superman who burns your face off.
Nope.
I think a lot of people have gone that route. And to touch on, I'm sorry, I forgot your real name, the Queen of Darkness.
Shannon.
Sorry. To touch on what she said about people having traumas, I mean, there are lesser traumas, there are harder traumas. There are people that have suffered like major traumas, but people suffer certain traumas all the time, whether it's that road rage incident that someone tried to send you off the road, or just constant negativity every day is a form of psychic trauma. I think that we start to delve into it, and this is where we've blurred the lines of good guys and bad guys too. I mean, and that's the other thing about the classic Universal monsters is you can blur the line of good and bad all the time. Is Dracula good? Is he bad? Thanos, you may not agree with the snap, but you understand it. It's like we've become sympathetic to the villain, and there's a lot of anti-hero now. And I think that's a reflection of where we are as people in the society in general. Because if I sat there and told you, look, I'm a big Superman fan. I am. And I like humble pie, corny Superman. I do. I don't like that in everything, but I like it in Superman. And people would tell me how boring and trite he is and this and that. Because I grew up in Happy Days and I thought it was the greatest show. If I watch Happy Days now, it's the corniest crap I've ever seen in my life. We've become jaded, I think, and hard. And that's another reason why I think horror is making a comeback, because what better genre to reflect society right now than Dexter?
Yeah.
Yeah, completely true.
But really what we do need in this world is Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Yay!
Literally, like, everybody just needs a freaking hug. Like,
right?
That's what it is. See, I know I am the Queen of Darkness, but I like to take all the dark things and show you the light and everything. Yes. So that's what everybody needs. Just one big hug.
But what we're getting is that Mr. Rogers is really deep down a serial killer with the kid chained up to the radiator in the basement.
We don't need that.
Don't ruin it for me. Mr. Rogers, innocent.
But I'm saying is that's what they're doing. They took Winnie the Pooh, for Christ's sake, and made it a freaking horror film. Winnie the freaking Pooh.
Dude,
and now and
Steve-O Willie. Why did you remind me?
I'm so angry about the banana split.
And Steve-O Willie and the banana splits and that what was that other one? That it was a kid's story and it was a horror with the animatronic.
That's because you're being fed all these fairy tales as a child that the world is perfect, and when you grow up things are going to be perfect, and look at all these things, and then things happen. You wake up as an adult one day, like you go to bed at some point, you go to bed with one mindset as a child and you wake up the next day with a different kind of mindset, and it's just I feel I lost my train of thought there. Yep. There you go.
No, you were onto something though.
No, Shannon, I agree with you. I feel like what it is, I feel like people are trying to steal that thing away from kids. They don't want kids to believe in magic. They don't want kids to
Right.
They don't want them to have that anymore.
cynical.
Well, look what J Pan just said. Anything you love as a child, corrupt it. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's just how people feel. I think they feel like, whatever. It's
like we were fed lies. Everything is a lie.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what it seems to be like, that they're showing, like, it's almost like they're, showing their, I can't, I wish my brain would just work today. All the thoughts are there. It's just not coming out.
No,
you need the 7-Eleven coffee intravenously. That's fine.
It's almost like it's water at this point.
Oh, no.
Don't worry. We know you just need a nap, and then you'll be back to normal.
I feel like this is.
I feel like we all need a nap right now.
Yeah, seriously. Can we just take a nap on air and take a power nap, 20 minutes, get up, and we're like, all right.
Del Leon did. Why not?
Well, I used to love daycare.
Sorry.
Or preschool or whatever, kindergarten, whenever it was that I used to get to take a nap.
I took that for granted. I was like, I don't want to sleep. I want to do something. And now I just want to sleep all the time now. I'm so
when you're a kid, you feel like you're missing out. When you're an adult, you're like, I've seen it all. I'm going to bed.
Oh my God, yes.
The nap is better.
Exactly.
We've discussed a lot of things today, folks. Go check out the episode, because I see people sneaking in right now going, hey, look, the show's on.
Oh,
go rewatch. Go
always the case.
Go back to the beginning.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right, so let's tell the people who we are again. Go ahead, Dismay. You start.
So Brandon Ingram, again, not the Pelicans NBA player. I am a comic writer, though, a comic creator, and one of the comics I have right now is the Gallows Man number 1 through 3. Golden Age action, dark comedy. It's Adam West Batman meets Inglourious Bastards. It's a fun, campy time. The 1940s. It's set in 1940s. They're beating up and killing Nazis, all while having the golly gee, Gallows Man, we got him again sort of thing.
Holy rusted metal.
I love that.
My bad thermal underwear. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, they actually do have like the hang trap, and they even have a trademark on it. Hang trap TM. They have
nice.
like all that, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's a fun time, and like I mentioned before, there are some deeper things within this book, but you don't have to dig into that. It can just be a fun time. It's just a fun book, and each issue are like stacked issues. Like issue 1's 52 plus pages, issue 2 52 plus pages, issue 3 is 60 plus pages. It's basically a staple bound mini graphic novel, basically. And those are all available on the Kickstarter, as well as Tales from Town City number 1, which is an anthology one-shot within this world of the Gallows Man. It follows the minor characters in it, like a couple homeless villains that are trying to use expired coupons. One of them has hypnotism powers. One of them has hypnotism powers, but the hypnotism powers are very weak to where he can't even like hypnotize the cashier into thinking it's not expired.
Oh my God. I feel called out.
And then also with that, there's a team of super animals called the Fierce Pets, and Pets is an acronym. It's Precise Ecosystemic Tactical Squad, much like covert action teams with Wildcats. And the Super Pet team go and slaughter poachers. And all of their dialogue, the Super Pets, not the animals, all of their dialogue is animal noises. And the team, 2 of them, you've heard these animal noises in books. You've heard bark, bark, bark. You've heard meow, meow, meow with cats and dogs. There's also a snake, a butterfly, a walrus. What else? A sugar glider.
What sound does a butterfly make?
I was just thinking the same thing.
The butterfly actually doesn't make a noise, but it's more of like a symbol. And his symbol is just a skull and bones, like a cross.
Oh my God! I knew butterflies. He lands on
evil. A guy as the guy is dying, sort of thing.
Wow!
But so that's Tales from Town City. I also have horror anthologies as well available through the Kickstarter. Some of these stuff, if it's not in the tiers, it's in the add-on section, like with the Dismay Avenue 1 and 2. That's the horror anthology stuff. Stuff that I've written before that I really like. There's some psychological horror, but not all of it is. It's a mix of horror, mix of art styles. There's very much like Junji Ito art styles. There's Dr. Seuss art styles, and it all pertains to the books. One of the books, Dismay Avenue number 1, the first 15 pages is beat for beat a date night I had back in college.
Wow.
And that's a horror anthology?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It was basically this weird theater we went to on the outskirts of town. No one was there. Parking lot's dead. The concession stands, people are very weird. There's some weird guy off in the corner sort of thing. First 15 pages are almost beat for beat of that date night. Then the comic is like, what if it went this crazy route that didn't actually happen in real life?
Are we sure?
Hey.
All right.
Neither confirm nor deny.
Oh, fair.
I plead the
Just plead
fifth.
the 5th. Good.
Yes, I plead the 5th. But all of that stuff is available through this Kickstarter. Digital copies, physical copies, catch-up bundles, all that sort of stuff is available through this Kickstarter.
You know what? Let's play the videotape.
Sounds good.
Back and better than ever, it's the Gallows Man. Witness action, humor, grotesque violence, and everything in between as the Gallows Man and his team try to stop the Nazi threat that has infiltrated their city. My producers are saying it's Adam West Batman meets Inglorious Bastards. Whatever the hell that means. Well, what are you waiting for? Help support this series by backing the Gallows Man numbers 1 through 3 over on Kickstarter today. There. I did the ad. Will you let me go now? Okay, I'll say the stupid stuff. Baby, get back. Have you ever seen a dead body?
Oh my
no
goodness.
Cap, these chicken nuggies be bussin', gang. Would you like to see a dead body? Morpheus, Dorpheus, Orpheus, go eat some walruses. Someone's getting a visit from the BB monster. There, I said it. I said it all. When will you let me go?
I gotta say, when I first heard that ending, I was like, "What?" No, I knew. I was like, "I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play it. Then I'm gonna come over here and watch your faces."
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well,
I
the
love
thing
it
is,
when
I've
a
seen
video
it.
is not perfect.
I've seen it so many times to where, like, when other people are reacting, I have to look away because I'm like, I can't be seen. Yeah, I like to do that with all of those trailers. Have a voiceover narrator go over it and then have him say very stupid stuff at the end. He's okay with it. I make sure. I've worked with this guy on multiple Kickstarters the past few years. Mr. Corley's awesome. And we get him to say stuff like "me meow, moo meow, I am a cow," and "pee pee poo poo." We get him to say all kinds of stuff in these trailers.
Oh, it's fantastic. Now I want to work with you as a voiceover artist.
All right, but he's gonna shock you. Remember.
Yes.
It'd be all that deep voice stuff. And go, me moo moo mama moo.
Oh my god.
All right, I gotta. My people will reach out to your people.
Oh my god.
That sounds like the worst Barry White romance I've ever heard in my life. Baby boo boo, mama mooney mow.
Bow.
Yeah.
Beep beep ba ba boo.
You're not setting the mood here, Barry.
I feel frisky.
Oh
Meow.
Oh. Go ahead, Patrick.
What's that?
Your
Patrick's
turn.
like, get me out of here. Just get me out of here, please.
Oh man.
Yes. We got 2 weeks left on Bixby Grant, Fangs and Brimstone, number 1 and 2. Mummy Private Eye. If you want to get updates and follow me, the best place you can go is RNM Press. That's Robots, Ninjas, Monkeys Press, rnmpress.com. And you can sign up for my newsletter. And you can also find out all my socials and that kind of thing because they're all different. I wasn't smart enough to have the same name on all my social outlets. But I also give on my newsletter, I give out one exclusive hardcover edition of Wolf She Cried, a 72-page graphic novel.
Nice.
That's only, you can't buy it anywhere else. You can't get it in a Kickstarter. You can't buy it in a store or online. You can only get it if you're one of the randomly selected winners every month for my newsletter.
I got to say, that's a good way to do it. That gives people an incentive to actually check out the newsletter.
Yeah. See, when I pitch it to people at shows and stuff, they're like, "Oh, okay," because normally people are like, "I don't want to sign up for this."
Yeah, exactly.
I want spam in my inbox.
Right, exactly.
Lure them in with free things.
Exactly.
Leave me alone, Party City. I'm tired of it.
All right, let's go to the videotape.
In Harbor City, a town where you never know what awaits you in the darkened alleyways.
Okay, hold up. This is hard. It's hard on the throat. Sorry, I thought I could do it. Fine. Next time I'll hire the voiceover guy. Get off my hey. Where was I? Tensions in Harbor City are running high. A series of cult killings has ripped through the town, and the mayor thinks the supernatural citizens of the city are to blame, which makes every monster in city limits a suspect, including our hero, Bixby Grant, Private Eye. Guess what, Mummy Chums? It's me, Patrick Coyle, creator of your favorite mummy detective. I'm back, and Bix is back, thanks to you. Yep, you, and you, and you. Heck, all y'all beautiful people. This is our third Kickstarter campaign, made possible by all of you supporters out there. Your support made our first two campaigns a big success, and we're grateful to be back again. For any of you new folks, here's the quick pitch. Bixby Grant is Hellboy meets the Spirit with a sprinkle of Batman the Animated Series. Bixby Grant is a hard-drinking, chain-smoking, gun-toting mummy detective who'd rather just be left alone to stew in his own misery. But in Fangs and Brimstone, Bix encounters a rockabilly vampire, a poltergeist, and a series of cult killings that might be connected to Bix's own brother, going back over 100 years. In this second issue, Bix dodges the cops, seeks help from old friends, and shakes down a cat burglar to try and solve this case before another body turns up. But will Bix's personal history with the murder weapon cause him to push things too far, igniting the powder keg that is Harbor City? You'll have to read and see. If you back this campaign, you'll get a 30-page comic that features a 20-page Bixby Grant story with artwork by the returning art team of Gonzalo Martinez and Arthur Hesley, who continue to make this comic look amazing. And you'll get part 2 of the 8-page backup story, Zombie Town, featuring the fantastic artwork of Gonzalo Ruggieri. This issue sees Detective Ramirez face the horrors that lurk beneath Harbor City in the dark tunnels of the sewer system. And as always, we have some sweet variant covers. We have our standard cover by interior artist Gonzalo Martinez with Arthur Hesley on colors. We have a variant from Image and Dark Horse artist Dean Kotz. And a Zombie Town variant cover from Star Wars and Star Trek cover artist Megan Huang. And for stretch goals, we've got some new stickers, digital wallpaper, a PDF of the script, a new case file, and all new mini prints by Edison Neo, Russell Mark Olson, and Julia Whitmire. So take a look at the options we have available for this campaign, and please consider supporting this latest Bixby Grant adventure. We appreciate your support. I almost had it. Cut.
I gotta say, everybody thinks this voice is easy.
It's not easy.
It's easy if you're Ralph.
Oh, dude.
No?
Anytime I gotta do that kind of a voice, I have to stop and take a break and drink something. Because after a while, exactly what happens to Patrick starts to happen. You're like,
You didn't come out the womb speaking like this? I
Seriously.
expected a little baby Ralph. Yes. Hello there.
that'd be interesting.
Don't slap me.
I'd be like, hello, mother and father. It is I, your son. Oh, man. All right, Phil, it is your turn. Go for it.
Phil Russertt, Philbo Publishing. I put out a lot of stuff and right now we have Arcane Syndicate, and it's kind of like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen with classic monsters. I really think I do some original different things with this. So, but you know what? I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a good writer. I'm not going to tell you the book is great. I'm going to tell you have to find out for yourself. So buy it and you tell me. But anyway, we also have other stuff on there. We have Diary of Dread, which is a 156-page horror anthology in the vein of old EC Comics, Tales from the Crypt, talking about humor with horror and stuff. That's been really received well by the storyboard artist on the Creepshow TV show. We have Withered, which is Angels and Demons with a totally different take. And, of course, we've got these classic monsters that you love acting as if the world depends on them protecting us from supernatural threats.
Very good. And, of course, let's do it again. Somebody's out there going, what the hell is videotape? That cover is just brilliant.
Yeah, I went to David. I was like, I want a cover where they're all walking down the government hallway and like strutting their stuff, and all the agents are stepping aside, like, "Oh crap!" Because these are, and we address it in the book. Like Wolfman's like, I can smell their fear. You're a government agent. You've dealt with terrorists and stuff, but here comes Frankenstein's monster, Wolfman. You're like, where do I work again? Jesus Christ!
Nope.
I better get a good retirement package here.
Wrong day to come to the office. Wrong day to come to the office.
Yeah. What do they do when they fire you? I hope Dracula's not part of HR.
Oh,
So
no.
and he delivers. David is. The funny thing is, this is his first full book he's done sequentials for, and he has such an understanding of sequential work. He understands how to draw the eye. He understands how to have the panels flow from panel to panel. And for a man who doesn't speak English very well because he's in Brazil, he really, really interprets the dialogue in the script with their facial expressions and body language very well. Just that Vlad page alone. And then he adds cool stuff like, I don't know if you noticed on Vlad's throne, there's blood flowing down the arm of the throne. And I love when artists do what they do best and add stuff like that, and that collaboration and trusting them, it just makes everything so much better. And I could not be happier or more grateful with David with what he's doing. So
it's fantastic.
And because of, even though the public domain, there are some things that are trademarked that you can't do. So, we change them up a little bit. Yeah, we change them up a little bit. And one of the characters is not technically public domain yet. So we altered the character's face, but you kind of know who they're supposed to be. And, we're not looking to get sued. We're not looking to take the glory for somebody else's creation per se. We just wanted to write something and create something different with these beloved characters that makes you see them in a different way and go, oh, that was fun. That was a fun ride.
I love the Phantom's keytar.
Yeah,
I was about to say
that was a great idea.
Thank you.
Been in my head this whole time. I love that.
Yeah, the Phantom's one of my favorite characters.
Thank you.
I'm like, okay. I like the fact that he's a bard or bard-like. All right.
And
go ahead.
There's dialogue that explains too that the intricacy of how you too that you have to be a very skilled player, because the more intricate the spell, the more you have to understand how to play. And anybody who's a musician knows that any instrument you play, there are dynamics involved. How hard do you hit the key? How soft do you hit the key? It's not just being able to hit notes. You have to understand texture, layering, dynamics, things of that nature. So it's not like anybody can just pick up this guitar and do it. You have to really understand and study the spells, and things go wrong because he doesn't get all spells right. And sometimes he tries a new spell, and they're trying to create new spells to and put them in this arcane item. And actually, one of the big plot lines is something doesn't go right because the spell doesn't come out right. So, it's little things like that I just think are fun and make a difference. And you just need a spark to catch fire, right? And the fire is the big plot, and little things can really catapult. How many of us every day? In our everyday lives, one stupid thing somehow just blew up into something totally unnecessary, right?
Always.
Yeah. So, it's fun to do stuff like that and see people's reactions to it and the monsters' reactions to it, because they're dealing with the human sides to them, some of them, and some of them, there is no human side.
Yeah. All right, folks, go check it out. Phil does great work. He is a fantastic writer. I've read enough of this stuff, and I'm still impressed by your ability to write.
Well, thank you. You flatter me.
All right, Shannon Michele, tell the people who you are. Go give them all the good stuff so they can go find you. Go for it.
Okie dokie. I am the Queen of Darkness, a Dream Within Dream. I am a model, a poet, author, paranormal investigator with Long Island Paranormal Investigators. I am on the cast of Dark Echoes Paranormal. You can find that on Paraflix, Paranormal Plus, and on Amazon Prime. I am the horror hostess with the Ghostess for Paraflix Paranormal Prime. Forget Netflix and chill when you could have spookies and thrills. Use
I love it.
OD30 for 30% off your annual subscription. You can find me on Facebook as Velma Von Dinkenstein. You could find me on Instagram at adream_within_a scream, or you can go to my website, adreamwithinascream.com. And I think that is everything. I have a lot of things to.
Yeah, you do. You got a lot of eggs in your cake there.
Yeah.
But it's fun because if you want, you guys can see her at conventions, because she hits a lot of the conventions as well.
Yes, I will be in Salem twice next month.
Ooh, well, that makes sense.
The 12th and on the 24th, I think.
Nice.
Or something. I don't know. It'll be posted on my socials and website.
And of course, Shannon will be hosting a couple of the shows in the coming weeks, so you can see her here for October and the Spooktacular, depending on if she's free or on what schedule she wants to follow. Because I'm going to leave it open to you, because I don't want to tire you.
We'll work it out. No, I shouldn't have any more crazy. I just knew this weekend was going to be crazy with everything, but it should work out good.
There you have it, folks. So you can see her there, you can see her here, you can see her everywhere.
Everywhere. In your nightmares, mostly.
Always a good thing.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
See?
I will be there tonight. Threatening with the nightmare.
And I got to say, Phil was all talking about things going wrong and rolling ones matter. I feel like you know something about that.
Oh, do I? Do I ever? Yeah, so I've got 3 days left on The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend, issues 1 through 3. It's a fantasy comedy it feels like Monty Python, but cute, or like a D&D campaign where everyone rolls a 1. If I made you laugh today, then you'll find this very funny. It's very bizarre. The characters are not great at what they're doing. It's about a bunch of bumbling idiots trying to team together to stop a demon invasion, and things aren't going so well for them. You should just play the video. Video me says
I was
it
going to say, when is the video tape? Because I love this tape. It's hilarious. So
Hi there. I'm M. Sorcier.
Self-taught artist and writer and creator of The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend. The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend is the tale of 3 inept heroes who set out on an epic quest to stop a looming demon invasion. Buddy is the careless leader whose half-assed problem-solving methods end up getting the team into trouble. Leo is a barbarian with a heart of gold whose good intentions also end up getting the team into trouble. And Lokthar is a morally bankrupt wizard, I guess, whose terrible hijinks also get the team into trouble. Together, our heroes... Well, not really heroes. Together, our brave adventurers... Not really brave either. Together, are competent... No, are capable? Together, these guys embark on a quest to find an item that can sever a rift to the abyss and stop the demons from coming and making everything worse, if that's even possible. Will they be able to succeed and save the world? Probably not, but you'll have to keep reading the book to find out. Speaking of books, The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend 3 is a 28-page standard-size comic in full color. If you're new to the series, Buddy and Friend 1 and 2 are also available so you can catch up on all the chaos. Aside from the standard cover, I have a cool splatter variant, a shiny chrome holofoil variant, custom sketch covers, an adorable sticker set, and oh yeah, you can also catch up on all 7 issues of my other series, Sacrimony. And for all you digital backers out there, yep, I've got you covered too. Wowee! So if you're looking for a ridiculously funny fantasy tale that reads like a D&D campaign where everyone rolls a 1, you should check out The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend. Thank you so much for your support, and keep an eye out because there'll be many, many more books to come.
Like I said, it's funny, and you folks, you need to pick it up.
I've got issue 1 and 2, and they're great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Of course.
It's just a fun thing. Even if you're not into D&D, you will have a blast with this book.
Yeah, if you're into fantasy at all and just making fun of fantasy tropes, watching fantasy creatures die in horrible, hilarious ways, like this is totally up your alley.
I gotta say, Chuck was over here telling me, thanking me, or saying that I do the great voice work on his cold cutter.
You do.
So, I wanted to thank Chuck for saying that.
Oh.
The check's in the mail, so I think that is everything. I don't have Mr. Nat here to tell me if I missed something. Now I'm wondering what happened to Nat.
Oh goodness, I hope he's okay.
I know he started working the regular hours again, so we won't see him on Mondays anymore.
All right.
Yeah. Anything else you guys need to say before we go?
Chicken fingers.
That is really good.
I'm hungry.
Thanks for having me on. It was nice to meet everybody.
Yeah,
nice talking to you again, Phil.
His whole thing was finger licking.
Me too. I wish everybody success. I really hope that you continue to grow your fan bases and get out there. I think indie comics needs quality stories and people that are passionate and really want to put out stuff that resonates, and everybody here seems to be doing that, and I think that's awesome, and I think we need more of it, whether it's mainstream or indie. We have, it's great that we have a collectible market, but we really need to bring readers back, and we need people that care about stories, whether they're new and inventive, whether they're comedic, whether they're serious, whatever the case. It's what makes the world go round, right? The spark of creation, the ideas that start with an itch and then just have to be scratched. So I commend everybody, and I wish you all the best of success.
Thank you. You too.
Very well said, and I completely agree. So, folks, go get some books off these Kickstarters and enjoy them.
Yeah, just go get some really weird books, because that's what indie comics does well, and I love it.
Yep.
We don't stop to think is this marketable? Will the investors care? No, we just make some weird stuff and put it out there, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, the kindest thing I've been told about my book is that
I love the humor of these guys.
Dude, I gotta say.
I love the humor that you guys have. Sorry.
Oh,
no, that's what I figured you were saying. I was adding to.
I think there's a delay.
Oh, don't worry. We had a couple of delays today, I've noticed. So, folks, go have fun. We had fun here on the show today. Great conversation, great people. Go geek out. With that, I will press that button.